I the a-hole for leaving my best friend's surprise party early because it felt more like a roast? Okay. So I, 24 female, have this best friend. Let's call her Jenna. 24 female as well. And we've been close since high school. Like, held my hair while I threw up in the Denny's bathroom type of friends. I honestly love her. I really do, but she can be a lot. So anyway, she threw this little surprise party for me last weekend. My birthday was last Tuesday, but she insisted on celebrating Friday. She told me to dress cute, and she made it sound like it was gonna be this wholesome wine and charcuterie night with the girls. Sounds great, right?
Wrong.
Well, I show up in this cute little white dress I bought for the occasion, hair curled, nails done, all that. I walk in and they yell, surprise, but not in a we love you way. It was a theme party. The theme? Dress like the birthday girl and roast her. I kid you not. Okay. I could take a joke, don't get me wrong. We have a couple speeches planned at the wedding where it's like, we've consented to a roast. However, there have been a few jokes that have been brought to my attention that were below the belt and not funny. You can joke about silly things, but nothing below the belt. You do a little sandwich, right? I guess it's like a mean sandwich because the bread is nice, right? Nice, nice. And in the middle, there's the roast. But you start with nice, you roast, and then you end with nice. And the nice better be extremely nice. Coming from your somewhat kind of funny favorite YouTuber, there is a right way to roast. I've been doing this a while, okay? Haven't said anything too bad yet.
There's always next year.
Everyone was wearing versions of my go-to outfits. Messy bun, iced coffee cups, fake nails, bad parking tickets taped to their bags. Okay, that one kind of got me. Okay, see, little ones. But then they started doing fake toasts that were just jabs. Like, here's to my name, who always has a 10-step skincare routine but still wakes up looking tired. Bruh. To my name, who thinks astrology is a personality trait. This sounds like people kind of have some hidden animosity toward you. To my name, who ghosted her gym membership but never forgets to DoorDash McFlurries at 2 a.m. Okay, so they're calling you fat.
That's gonna be a yikes for me, dog.
Like, question mark, question mark, question mark. Some of it was funny, I'll admit, but after 20 minutes, it just got mean. I kept smiling through it like, haha, good one. But deep down, I was like, damn, this wasn't a roast with love. It was just people clowning on me for sport. After pretending to go to the bathroom, I grabbed my keys, quietly told Jenna, I think I'm done for the night, and I left. I didn't cause a scene, I didn't cry, I just left. I texted her later that I appreciated the effort, but it felt like more like I was the butt of a joke, not the guest of honor. There's a few things that went wrong with this. Number one, you didn't know that it was gonna be like this. It's different if you're consenting to a roast when they do the epic roasts on like Netflix and like Tom Brady consented to it. Even those jokes were kind of below the belt, honestly, especially the jokes about his ex and his kids, but like he consented to it, right? And also, I feel like there wasn't enough nice things said. Maybe you're just leaving those things out. There can be some funny jokes, some jokes at my expense, but that can't be the point of the party. Jenna is mad and saying I embarrassed her. Oh, and that it was just jokes and I'm being too sensitive. A few of the others messaged me saying they thought I overreacted and it was all in fun. But like, isn't a birthday supposed to feel good? Not like a Comedy Central special? Yeah, it is. So, tell me, am I the a-hole for walking out of my own roast disguised as a birthday party? Also, for the record, I'm now team next year I'm celebrating with pizza and a cat. I feel like I need more info. Like, was it only mean things that were said about you? The part about them dressing up as you, I feel like is kind of funny, but it all kind of depends on whether or not you're the type of person that is okay with that, you know? And this coming from a person who can take a joke. There are also jokes that are off limits. I think calling people fat, telling people they're ugly, it's not funny in any way.
It's funny because he's fat.
And it certainly isn't funny when it's coming from your friends. It's like, oh wow, okay, so you secretly feel this way about me? I don't know. You didn't make a scene, you left because you were uncomfortable and like your feelings were kind of hurt. And if anybody should be apologizing and like receptive, it should be Jenna and your friends. Not the a-hole, it was a roast. OOP said, I mean, yeah, it was a roast, but I thought I was getting cheese and wine, not emotional damage and public humiliation. I was standing there like, is this still for fun or I'm just the unpaid entertainment now? Honestly, if someone had handed me a mic and a drink, I would have done a tight 5 about them too. Ooh! I think me and Mike are prepared for getting roasted at our wedding, but I think we're gonna have a little speech prepared for after, just so that we get the last word. You know what I mean? Not the a-hole. Ironic she wants to claim anything about being embarrassed. That none of your friends care that the humor got stale and continuing to pile on rather than reflect well. Are they even friends or do they even like you? I just genuinely feel like they should have also said nice things about you too. OOP responded, that's what's been messing with my head the most. Like, if this is their idea of fun or love, I'd honestly hate to see what their version of shade looks like. I keep thinking maybe I was being too sensitive, but the fact that not one person said, hey, maybe that's going too far kind of says it all. I feel like I walked into a group chat where they've all been secretly roasting me for months and accidentally read the whole thing out loud. Still debating if I should fade out or hit them with a group message titled roast this and attach a pic of me on a solo spa weekend. It kind of just depends on whether or not what they said was too below the belt. I do feel like you just like walked into an instance where you were just being bullied. I'm really sensitive to stuff like that, so maybe I also can't take a joke. Words of affirmation are like my thing. When people say like mean things about me, I really do take it personally, which is kind of shitty considering the career that I've found myself in. The solution to that, and because I get so upset, is that I don't like being in the comment section for longer than like 5 minutes because I just can't handle it. In the same way, a nice thing that people say will literally make my whole day. That kind of affirmation will literally make my whole day. But you know, on the flip side of that coin, it's like the bad things resonate for a little longer. All right, so we do have an update, which was posted the next day. Hey everyone, wow, I did not expect this much love and support. So here's what happened since I posted. Jenna texted me, not to apologize, but to send me a meme that said roasting is a love language with a laughing emoji. I left her on red because girl, seriously, I think it's important to note also the differences between like genders. Men tend to roast each other a lot more. There's kind of like that male camaraderie where it's like, you know, they give a compliment that's like, where'd you get that fucking shirt, you loser. Girls, I think, are a little different. Later that night, one of the girls from the party, we'll call her Becca, DM'd me and said she thought I knew about the roast. She said Jenna told everyone I was totally down for it and even helped plan it. And I was like, what? The only thing I planned was the white dress I wore while being emotionally shanked by 6 girls in fake Uggs. Oh, not the fake Uggs. Oh. It's quite possible that a lot of these people only agreed to do this because they thought you were aware of what was happening. Anyway, I gently explained to Becca that nope, I was blindsided, and she immediately apologized and said she felt really bad. She said if she'd known, she never would have gone along with it, or maybe even told people not to do it. So that honestly made me feel a bit better. At least one of them has a soul. I feel like Jenna just has secret animosity toward you, honestly.
Secret? What secret?
As for Jenna, radio silence since the meme, no apology, no hey, I messed up, nothing. So I've decided I'm not gonna chase people to value me. My new plan, I took a personal day, got myself a mini spa package, 8 overpriced macaroons and McFlurries, I hope, and spent my night with my cat binging and watching The Bear while wearing a gold face mask like I was healing from battle, because emotionally I kind of was. I realized that this whole thing was actually a weird gift. I got roasted, yes, but I also got clarity. I thought I had a solid group of friends. Turns out I had a front row seat to my own roast hosted by people who think mean but make it Pinterest is a cute party idea. So yeah, next year it's just me, my cat, a pizza the size of a steering wheel, and 0 surprises. And you know what? That honestly sounds perfect. Thanks again for validating my gut feeling. Y'all help me feel seen. Top comment I think is important to note. The fact that Jenna felt the need to lie to the other girls and say OOP was in on it when she wasn't sealed the deal for me on who she is. She knew what she was getting herself into. She knew that it was something that was like non-consensual. She wants to be made to feel like she wasn't the bad guy, but she really was. That whole meme as an excuse for her shitty behavior was the cherry on top. We can make jokes at others' expense, but let's not be surprised when people don't take it well. It is entirely possible to make jokes that are lighthearted and could be considered funny where no one's the butt of the joke. So are you the a-hole for leaving your best friend's surprise party early because it felt more like a roast? No. I just found out that my best friend has been telling all of our friends that my boyfriend tried to cheat on me with her. Ellen, 22 female, and I, 21 female, met through an internship 3 years ago and instantly became best friends. About a year ago, I started crushing on George, 24 male, who interns at the same company, but in a different department as us. Ellen and another one of our coworkers set us up last fall and we really hit it off. We've fallen in love and we often talk about a future together. This is where things get messy. From early in our relationship, pretty much as soon as we went from just dating to being official, Ellen has been colder to me. She never made it a secret that she doesn't particularly like George, though she's never said anything direct about it. Didn't she set you guys up? The only issue she's ever raised was when we first got together and he got really sick. I was studying for the MCAT at the time, and I was only about a month out from my main test day when he had a pretty bad flare-up of a chronic illness. Because he knew Ellen and I were so close, he called her to ask if she thought he should tell me if he was sick or if it would be better to keep it from me so he didn't take away my studies. Ellen didn't like this at all. I feel like that's actually really nice thing to do. She told me she thought it was incredibly inappropriate that he tried to contact her like that, and he never should have called her about something so personal. Is this the cheating she's talking about? I thought her reaction was a little over the top, but I talked to George about it, and he apologized to her and never called her again, but she didn't let it go. It sounds like he was being like super considerate and like maybe considered her a friend. Like I've been in situations before where a friend of mine was struggling and I've been asked by their boyfriends at the time to like step in and like help them deal with the friend. And I actually like really appreciated it. He's asking her for help. In this respect, I don't know if he cheated or not, but I don't see why that's a bad thing. A few weeks later at a party, she made a comment about how I was always choosing George over my friends. My roommate was gonna be out of town the next week, so she said she should say her goodbyes since I would probably just spend the whole week at home with George. She tried to play it off as a joke, but I was really surprised she felt that way. I never wanted to be the kind of girl who turns her back on friends when she gets into a relationship. And I've been trying really hard to balance my time with my boyfriend and my friends. I will say that I've also dealt with friends being like kind of annoyed that I'm not as available anymore. And I get that. And like, I take it personally because I don't want people to feel that way also, but it's actually ironic because when those friends got into relationships, now all of a sudden I hear from them much less. The irony is not lost on me. When you are in a relationship, you spend a lot of your free time with that person. It's inevitable that you're gonna see certain people a little bit less. It seems she felt neglected, so I started putting more effort into our friendship. Over the next few weeks, I tried to make plans with her at least 5 or 6 times. Every time she came up with some excuse not to see me, even once canceling at the last minute and citing a meeting she forgot about at 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Oh yeah, baby girl, she didn't have no meeting. I was hurt. I knew our friendship was dying, and every time I tried to revive it, she rejected me. Finally, I decided the ball was in her court. If she wanted to be friends, I was open to it, but I was sick of being rejected, and she would have been the one to reach out to me. She never did. Meanwhile, things were deteriorating at work. We had been assigned to the same project for the year, which required working very closely together. As our friendship fell apart, she started ignoring me at work, being rude and short and making my share of our tasks difficult for me. I felt like she was constantly breathing down my neck and waiting to catch me in a mistake. I figured she was gossiping about me behind my back, but at this point I was so exhausted from dealing with her, I couldn't be bothered about it. She would say what she wanted to say, and I would just be nice and patient with her and count down the days until our internship ended. Until today. I had lunch with one of our other coworkers and my good friend Kay, 22 male, and he told me everything. Apparently, Ellen has been telling all our coworkers and friends that George has been trying to cheat on me with her, telling them that he calls her in the middle of the night, sends her inappropriate texts, and when I hosted a party after I wrote the MCAT, he spent the whole night eyeing her. So she's jealous of your relationship. I'm saying this kind of premeditated because like, I don't know if he did cheat on her. I need more context, obviously, but it sounds to me like she's trying to sabotage. Does this girl like you? I don't know. Does she have a crush on you? Cause like, what the f-? I know none of this is true. I love George. I know he loves me. And even as Kay was telling me all this, I knew Ellen was lying. It seems that Kay didn't believe it either. He was just telling me what he had heard. But the thought that she's been going around accusing George of infidelity makes me sick. I went straight to George's house and told him everything. I told him I didn't think even for a second that it was true and that the betrayal is how Ellen made all this up and spread it around. I was crushed to know that not only did Ellen say all of this, but she's been saying it to all my friends for months. And not not one of them came to me about it. If she was really your friend and she had a problem with this, she should have come to you. If this really happened, why didn't she tell you? George helped me get past the hurt stage, and now all I feel is rage. Tomorrow I'm gonna call my supervisor and ask if I can work from home until the end of my contract so I never have to see Ellen's face again. I feel so betrayed and I hate her so much right now. Am I overreacting? Should I be taking the high road and keep working with Ellen, as I don't know? I feel betrayed by my other friends too, because Kay thinks they all knew what she was saying and not one of them told me. Yeah, that's bothersome too. Should I cut them off the same way I plan to cut off Ellen? Maybe they kind of knew that what she said was a lie, but they also, I feel like, should have told you that she was going around saying this stuff. I feel like you need more information. I feel like you need to find out whether or not what she's saying is true. Either way, Ellen should have told her and not everyone else in the neighborhood. So someone in the comments pointed out, have you given any thought that what she was saying was true? What did boyfriend say about it all? Offer to show texts, etc.? Obviously playing devil's advocate here, and either way, a real friend would tell you directly about your man acting out, not gossiping. So no judgment on dropping her ass. Yeah, either way, in that respect, she's not a good friend. But OOP responded, I really don't think it could be true. George has offered his phone a number of times, and I've declined because I trust him, and we both agree the accusations are absurd. He's never been anything but completely honest with me, and he's been saying for weeks that I should drop Ellen because he doesn't like the way she's been treating me. We do have an update 1 year later. Our internship ended without much fanfare. I didn't, as many comments suggested, contact HR or confront Ellen. I did contact our direct supervisor and told him our personal relationship had deteriorated and it had caused some hostility on her part at work, giving specific examples of issues in the workplace without getting into the weeds of the personal pettiness that was going on. He was understanding and accommodating. I worked from home for the rest of the summer, receiving a glowing recommendation from him, and got hired at our company in my top choice department fresh out of my internship, while I finished my degree and applied for medical school. I've been accepted into the top school in my country, and George and I plan on getting married once I finish my studies. Oh my goodness. Our relationship is stronger than ever. Wow. Oh my God, I got chills. Good for you, babe. Congratulations. Ellen moved abroad, but stayed very well connected to the friend group that we formed through the internship. After what happened last year, I slowly began to distance myself from that group. And as I did, I realized I'd outgrown a lot of them anyway. Once I began to see the cracks in the friendships I used to surround myself with, I couldn't unsee all the ways they could be unkind, immature, and toxic to themselves and one another. I held on to the few people I knew had my back and came out of the internship with a handful of good close friends, rather than being in a big circle of people with shady tendencies. One good friend from the internship, Alice, 22 female, had been close with Ellen about a year ago, and since has told me a lot more of the things Ellen has said behind my back, partially corroborating Kay's story from last year and adding details to some of the craziest parts. Apparently, to give herself more credibility, Ellen had been telling people she'd been in touch with my roommate and friend of 11 years, Anna. She said Anna also didn't like George, and Anna told her I spent way too much time with him, was neglecting all my friends, that he basically lives at our apartment, and that I always do this when I get into a relationship. She told people Anna thinks George is faking his chronic illness, and that I'd been using it as an excuse to blow off my friends. Once when George was at our apartment, he had a flare-up. I had to cancel plans to stay with him, afraid he might need me to take him to the hospital. Ellen told everyone Anna said he didn't seem sick, and I'd only canceled because I felt like staying home and hanging out with him. When Alice told me all this, I immediately confronted Anna and told her everything. Although Anna and Ellen had been in touch on and off for the past few years, I previously introduced them to one another, and they had some mutual interests they'd occasionally text about. Anna assured me she'd said none of the things Ellen accused her of, and even combed back through all the messages to see if there was anything she'd said that might have implied anything like that. In going through Anna's messages with Ellen, we noticed a pattern. It seemed anytime I told Ellen I was unavailable, she texted Anna to ask if I was with George. This went back to almost the beginning of my relationship with him. For those running to the comments to ask why Anna didn't tell me this sooner, it didn't strike Anna as bizarre until we looked through the messages after hearing the accusations. I have a bad habit of letting my phone die, so sometimes if someone really needs to get in touch with me, they'll contact Anna or George. So in and itself, Ellen texting her to ask where I wasn't out of the ordinary. Coming out the other side of this, I've been trying really hard to reflect and learn from the situation. Was I a perfect friend to Ellen? Definitely not. I think there were certainly times at the beginning where I was first dating George and studying from the MCAT that I was distant with her. Maybe I should have tried harder to patch up our friendship in those early days by confronting her directly. Or maybe I should have been more in tune to how she was feeling and addressed it sooner. Despite everything, I do miss her a lot and I wish things turned out differently. But I don't think she was fair to me either. If I had withdrawn a little bit into my relationship in the early stages, she should have given me some grace and confronted me directly when she had a problem rather than going behind my back. She absolutely should not have tried to drag my name through the mud, making things difficult at work or worst of all, trying to destroy George and Anna's reputations and relationships. I recently heard that Ellen is moving back to the city and tried to get a job at the company where we intern, but she was rejected by every department she applied to. Am I a bad person for feeling a little vindicated? I mean, you didn't go necessarily out of your way to lie like she did. Could you have done anything differently? I mean, you could have. You know, your friend could have also come to you and been like, hey, I don't know, I just feel like we've been kind of distant. Like, I'd love to like catch up sometime. That would give you an opportunity to be like, yeah, no, I know there's lots of stuff going on. It just kind of seems strange. And it's quite common. When people get into relationships, you're inevitably going to see less of that person. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't love you anymore. There's only so much time in the day. I don't think that you should feel bad because she kind of tried to sabotage your relationship. She was gossiping about you, lying about you, all because she felt rejected by you. I don't really think that you need someone like that in your life. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if she had a crush on you, honestly. But I digress. I feel like this friendship ended for a reason. And if it wasn't this, it would have ended over something else. All right, we got one more from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. I ended a friendship over crossed boundaries. Ooh, spicy. Context for the screenshots. I, 32 female, ended a 3 to 4 long friendship with a guy, almost 40, because for most of our relationship, he continuously crossed boundaries, disrespected me, used mild to moderate misogyny against me, and after confronting him, he doubled down. My friends with benefits and I met up with him last night at a music show. I was dressed in short shorts, boots, and a t-shirt with a cutout for my cleavage. I am aware of and I'm okay with people looking at me and complimenting me, but touching me, especially after I say no, is not okay. I'm happy to give my friends a hug and hear them tell me I look good, but out of all my guy friends, he's the only one that will openly oogle my body and say inappropriate things and continue to touch me. Oh, last night was the worst because he'd been drinking, but it was the last straw that broke the camel's back. I sat at the corner of a square table. My friends with benefits sat at the corner across from me, and my friend sat next to me. He didn't know that my friend with benefits was more than a friend, but in my opinion, that shouldn't matter because my boundaries stand regardless of my relationship status. My friends with benefits and I are not dating. I kind of ignored him when he made comments, told him no when he tried to give me a back rub, and he didn't stop making me uncomfortable until I started to get closer to my friend with benefits. Then his attention toward me wasn't as strong. After a couple rounds of pool, my friend and I went out to have a smoke, and he acted normal. I wasn't uncomfortable, but after years of dealing with the same situation with him, I felt like it was time to say something. More context, he and I never slept together or dated. I have rejected his advances several times. I've told him not to be flirtatious with me. I've expressed that I don't want his energy, that kind of energy. He can treat me the way I would like to be treated when there's a man in my life. So I feel like he's disrespecting my boundaries because he doesn't respect me as a woman. And that makes me feel unsafe with him. It's really interesting how, you know, when a guy's hitting on you and you just kind of like say you're not interested, they're much more likely to get mad and not respect those boundaries than if you say, I have a boyfriend. Because it's like, oh, I can't just say no. Like, I can't just like not be interested. I have to be dating someone. It's a common thing. If someone is like kind of hitting on me, I have to say that I'm in a relationship because it gets rid of the problem faster. If you just say that you're not interested, they're much more likely to keep pressing. And I think that we've learned that inherently. I said, just because other women are okay with it doesn't mean I have to be. Because in my experience, when he tries to say stuff like other men do it to make it okay for him to do it, he will bring up how other women are different than me to make it sound like I'm in the wrong. I don't understand why you're friends with this person. He obviously has a thing for you, or at least wants to like you. I think it's clear that this friendship is not one that you need, especially if you're feeling uncomfortable. How I'm feeling now, after his last 2 messages, I blocked him. He has a bit of a presence in our community, and I hope he doesn't bring this up to other people to make me look bad, but I have the receipts if anybody asks. I'm not gonna blast him unless it comes to that. I'm bummed he would rather cross boundaries and be disrespectful than keep a friendship, but I'm glad I don't have to keep pushing him away and telling him no and trying to justify being his friend when I'm in a relationship. My other guy friends are respectful, and I don't have to defend our friendship like that. So I know that I don't have to deal with this if I don't want to. And I don't, and I won't. We have some screenshots. Hope you had fun last night. It was okay. I need to tell you that I don't know if we'll hang out much more because you make me feel uncomfortable with the flirtatious comments and randomly wanting physical contact. Back rubs, hugs, after bringing attention to my cleavage. None of my guy friends do that stuff, and it makes me feel disrespected that after 2 years or so of rejecting your advances and not showing interest, your flirtations, you still do that stuff. It shouldn't matter whether the guy I invited out with me is the person I'm dating or not, but I don't want to be friends with a guy that I have to defend to my partner because they're showing too much interest in me. You and Cody are a thing? I thought you were single, but okay. No, we're not. I am single. Okay. Well, I'm not trying to win a popularity contest. I'm just going to be unapologetic about how I am. If someone don't like me, then that's their problem. No. No touchy what doesn't belong to you. And that's okay. If you want to approach women after they reject you, keep doing that. Not all women want that kind of man, but some do. That's kind of fucked up. I'm just trying to be friends with you. I'm happy alone or with, honestly. If you can't respect my boundaries, then we can't be friends. And if you're okay with that, that tells me you're not a safe person to be friends with because you don't care about my feelings. I can't control your feelings, only mine. But you can control what you do after someone asks you to stop treating them a certain way. That's respecting someone's boundaries and being a good friend. But like I said, I'm gonna be unapologetically me, and if someone doesn't accept that, then I'd rather not be friends with someone who's trying to change me for their comfort. So go find friends you can control. Well, I'm gonna be unapologetically me, so I'm gonna go and like commit crimes because that's just who I am. That's so weird. It's not about control. It's about asking for you to not cross my boundaries and respect me without bringing a weird energy to it. But if crossing my personal boundaries is too much for you, then we can't be friends. Let me know when you find a man that doesn't hit on you, lol. I'll be here waiting, friend or not. I mean, there's plenty of men who are respectful. Oh, and she lists all her friends. All of those guys are my friends and they don't do that because they respect me as a friend. Not every man is like that. Okay, I'm sure they've done it to other women. Maybe women that have shown interest in them, but not just anyone. I think it goes without saying that you should not be touching anyone that has not given you the go-ahead to do that. This guy's creeping me out, man. And those women can handle themselves if they need to, but I'm talking about my personal boundaries, not other women's. Just because other women are okay with it doesn't mean I have to be. Well, if you feel like we can't joke like that, then sorry, I'm not the friend you need. Oh, so now it's a joke. I love to have a good time. Oh, that's so weird. No, this guy's weird. You're good. You don't need this friend. Okay, that sucks, but it is what it is. I'm not about drama or boundaries. Good luck with that. I live free, love free. Okay, go live free, love free over there. Subscribe!